All right, so welcome back. Today in this video, we are going to be starting a new section for our Civil FE exam review. We're going to be looking at geotechnical engineering. So with geotechnical engineering, you're dealing with soils, you're dealing with finding forces in soils, finding its strength, finding its stress, a bunch of different things. So have some practice problems for you all. Today in this video, we're going to be looking specifically at our index properties and soil classification. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's get into it. All right, so number one says, given the information, a soil with 60% gravel, 20% sand, and 20% fines, determine the USCS group for the soil. Okay, so what information are we given? Well, we are given a soil sample with percentages, right? So 60%, 20%, and 20%. So I'm just going to say with percentages. Okay, we're to find the USCS group. Okay, so what formulas might I need for this? Well, if you don't know what the USCS group is, then that's where I would probably start my search. So I'm gonna search USCS. 20 things come up. So a lot of this is the US customary system. But that's not what we need. Thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, all unit stuff. So that was it. Okay. Should be a section in here that has soils. So we first got to get maybe to the geotech section, because when I do USCS, that doesn't help me out. So let's go to civil engineering. And we know that we're in geotech right now, right? Just by what it says. Okay, so if I scroll down, we have a AASHTO soil classification, and then we also have a unified soil classification system, which is what we need. So that's what the USCS stands for, right? We're classifying a soil. So you need to be able to get to this table. Searching for it, you may not be able to just do a search like you just saw. So you need to know where it is in the manual, right? It's going to be in your civil engineering section under geotech. Okay. All right, so now I feel like we're in the right section. All right, so this soil has 60% gravel. So based on coarse grained and fine grained, it's more than 50% retained. So I know it's more coarse. If it was 50% passing, then I know it will be probably more sand and stuff, or really fine material. So I know it's on this upper side. Okay, so when I zoom in, because I don't know if you all can see it. All right, what's next? Is it 50% more gravel retained, or is it you're 50% more sands, or is it 50% passing? So for gravels, we still have 60%. So we're gonna stay on this upper line. So you can see the split line here. So we're staying in this area. Okay, then we move to the next section and we read, is it clean gravels? That means it has less than 5% fines. Or is it gravels with fines and it has more than a 12% fine? So I know ours says we have 20% fines. So it's more than 12% fines. So when we look at this, it can only be between these two. And so it's either GM or GC, right? And what does that mean, right? It's either GM, which is silty gravel. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's GM or silty gravel, or GC, clay gravel. So if I look at my answer choices, I don't see GM on there. I just see GC. So I know that it's going to be C. So you will need to know how to read this chart just based off the percentages and information that they give you, right? Pretty simple. You do want to know where the line divides or separates your different soil classifications. Like where I'm putting my line at is a pretty big divider. Also, between your coarse and your fine soils, there's another divider. So you just need to know where things divide at, right? So you're not selecting the wrong soil classification or reading the chart wrong. All right, let's look at number 2. So it says a soil sample was collected from a construction site and subjected to laboratory tests. The results are as follows. This one says it has a liquid limit, LL, of 35%, a plastic limit of 26%, and a plastic index for 9%. Based on the provided data, what is the ASHO soil classification for this sample, right? Okay. So what information are we given? We're given the data of liquid limit, plastic limit, and plastic index, right? Okay. What are we trying to find? We're trying to find the soil classification, right? But we're using the ASHO method, right? So if I do ASHO, AASHTO, see if anything comes up. Okay, compiled by ASHO. This is transportation. Still transportation. All right, the ASHO soil classification is what we need to be looking at. Okay. And when you're reading this chart, we were given some information, right? The data, which we were given the liquid limit. Okay. Which is 35%. So the way you want to read this chart, you want to come down, and for each column, it is attached or has something attached on its row, right? So the sieve analysis percent passing for a number 2 sieve it would classify as A-1A if it had less than 50%. Or if it was less than 50% passing. So you have to be able to understand what this chart is saying based on the information that they give us. So they didn't, for this question, we don't have the percent passing through different sieves. Now, what is a sieve? You may be wondering what a sieve is. So let's say you have, say I got my fancy, feeling good with drawing today. All right. So you may have some soil that's being dropped into a pan. I'm gonna draw this coming down. These are all pieces of soil, right? And they're all coming down in this pan. This is a circular little pan, right? So a sieve contains these little, a size of holes, right? And depending on how big the holes are is the size of the sieve. So like 2 millimeter versus a 0.425 millimeter, right? Some are big. The number 10 is going to be bigger in size than the number 40, right? Because of the size of the sieve. So that's how you're able to tell how big, whether it's really fine soils that are able to pass through, or you have really big, basically rocks or big pieces of soil that aren't that fine, that they can't get through these holes. So just something to keep in mind. Our question isn't dealing with it, but I wanted to at least mention it so that you have an idea of what's happening. Okay. So this question is asking specifically for the based on the liquid limit, right, and plastic limit. So liquid limit, if we come here, right, and we scroll over, is our liquid limit less than 40? Oh yes. So A-24 is still in the running. Is it greater than 41? No. So A-24 is out. So you have to remember these things. So I'll just write in and out so that I can keep up with it. All right, so in still right now is A-2-4. Okay, out is A-2-5. Okay. A-2-6 is still in. All right. And then A-2-7 is out. And when I say out, it just means it doesn't qualify. So our liquid limit is not greater than 41. It's 35%, right? Okay. A-4. Is it less than? Yes. So it's still in. What about A-5? Nope. A-6. And then all right, so based on the ones that are out, let's look at our answer choices and see if we can cross some out now. All right, you want to spend the least amount of time as possible on these. So A-7-5 is out. I know it can't be that one. A-5 is out. can't be that one. A-7-6 is out. A-2-4 is in, and that's the one that we have, right? But even if you didn't look at this, let's just take a look at the ones that are currently in right here. All right, let's take a look at those and see why A-2-4 still is the only one that will work. Okay, so when we go to the next thing, so we've gone through liquid limit, right? Okay, so let's look at plastic limit. So you can't look at plastic limit. There's no really place for plastic limit right now. So we'll look at plastic index, right? So plastic index is 9%. So as I'm looking at A-2-4, is it less than 10%? Yes. So A-2-4 is still in. What about A-2-6? Well, it's greater than 11%. So now A-2-6 is out. What about A-4? All right. Is it less? Yes, so it's still less than 10%, or less than 10%. And then what about A-6? Nope, it is out. So really, it would have been between A-2-4 and A-4, but the only answer choice you had was A-2-4. So hopefully that made some sense, but just going through eliminating the answers that don't make sense, using the information that you have is going to be really helpful. All right, let's look at number 3. All right, so this one says, what is the liquid limit of the soil? All right. So I'm given that I have a plastic limit of 20 and a plastic index of 15. So I'm just going to call them PL and PI for plastic index. Okay, I'm looking to find my liquid limit. All right, how do I get my liquid limit? Liquid limit. Searching. Okay. So liquid limit LL. Okay, plastic limit PL. So PI is your plastic index is equal to your liquid limit minus your plastic limit. So do I have PI and I have PL, right? Those are the given values, and now I can solve for a liquid limit. So my formula needed is going to be PI is equal to LL minus PL. So PI plus PL is equal to my liquid limit. All right. So plastic index is 15. My plastic limit is 20. And that equals 35, which is my liquid limit. So my answer is D. Pretty easy there. All right. I think this concludes our soil classifications and index properties. The next video, we're going to be looking at phase relations And so I will see you in the next video.